Next month, Spider-Man No Way Home hits theaters, and since, with the exception of the Marvel Cinematic Universe Spidey movies and the second Venom movie, I haven't really reviewed any of them on my channel, today we're going to look back at the original 2002 Sam Raimi Tobey Maguire film. This is a very well done film with a great story. It really takes the time to establish the characters and their dynamics. We first meet Peter, and he's very much the social outcast. He's very nerdy, very much in his own space. And then we meet Harry, who has a rich father, but he doesn't have a very good relationship with him. Whereas with Peter, he has a very good relationship with his family, even though they don't always get along. You get the sense that Norman Osborn kind of admires Peter a bit more than his own son, and Norman also starts out pretty nice, if not a bit distant, but when he becomes the Goblin, you can see the two sides of his personality fighting each other, and it gets very creepy. This film is a very good hero's journey because Peter, though he seems to have a good relationship with his aunt and uncle, doesn't always get along with them, and he doesn't really appreciate them as much as he should, and then suddenly his uncle is taken from him, which starts him fighting for something rather than using his power selfishly. Because at first he's only using his powers to try and get money so he can get a car to impress the girl he likes. And then when the guy responsible for this doesn't pay, he lets the guy who robs him get away because he wants revenge. And then when he realizes that robber may have killed his uncle, he realizes, oh, this is why I got these powers. It's a great character arc and journey. Now, as good as Tobey Maguire is in this film, he's a bit too old to be playing a high schooler. He was 25 when they cast him. And yes, even though Tom Holland was 19 when they cast him, and Andrew Garfield was 28 when they cast him, which is a huge problem, but I'll get to that when we get to that movie, he feels like a college student, not high school. If they had done this in college, it would have been a lot more believable. Also, I know this is a hot take, I know this is a controversial opinion, but he has no chemistry with Kirsten Dunst. I don't believe it for a minute. However, one of the changes they did make that did work was the making web shooting one of Spider-Man's powers. Like, he gets the ability to actually shoot webs, as opposed to the other versions, and even the comic book where he builds them. That's a bit more believable and relatable than seeing this guy know how to build web shooters. However, this also brings up a huge plot hole that drives me nuts, because when he's first discovering his powers, his web sticks to a lunch tray, which then drags behind him and has several witnesses, and none of these kids put two and two together that just a few days later, there's this superhero that shows up that also shoots webs, and also, this is a few days after they went to a lab with mutant spiders. No one figured this out. In some aspects, this film is a bit dated. The first big fight scene between Goblin and Spidey at this festival looks very staged. It doesn't look natural. It looks like two people in costume doing a pre-choreographed fight, kind of like with Power Rangers and the end of the movie Jingle All the Way.
Hey man, I have a special delivery for you. Huh? Ha!
Some of the dialogue's a bit cheesy and clunky, somewhat cartoony.
What about my generous proposal? Are you in or are you out?
It's you who's out, Gobby. Out of your mind.
We'll meet again, Spider-Man! The itsy bitsy spider went up the water spout. Down came the goblin and took the spider out.
But on the other hand, the comics were like that too. But despite its datedness in some aspects, despite some of its cheesier elements, it's still a fantastic movie. Especially considering that this was in 2002, and a lot of the stuff we got beforehand was Batman and Robin, Superman 3, Superman 4. This was a lot better than it should have been. It's true to the spirit of the comics, it changed the comic book movie genre forever, and it's definitely worth revisiting. So yes, I would give the Sam Raimi Spider-Man film a solid B, an 8 out of 10, and a 4 out of 5 stars.